While the Bungie studios are currently on fire from the amount of roast that the community as a whole has been sending it, I figured I would kinda do them a solid and come up with some new exotic armors and weapons that we could possibly see in the game. These are stuff that not only has come from my own personal sketchbook as a pseudo game designer myself, but also from you guys in the community. Whether it's something as silly as a quote unquote fires a gigantic beam of continuous death that gives you depression, or it's something a little bit more serious, Guardians around the globe have always wanted to come up with their own exotic ideas. So, let's start designing some exotics, shall we? Welcome back, Guardians, to another TDT video. I'm your humble host, Meesum777. Today we're going to take a look at 4 exotics that we have come up with, one for the Hunter, one for the Warlock, one for the Titan, as well as a weapon. The end of the video you'll see is a featured exotic, something that you guys have created, and that's something that we really like, so it's something that we've picked. If you have an exotic idea of your own, stop right now, go drop it in the comment section down below. If it's well thought out, it's interesting, you might see it in the next video. If you are a regular to the channel, try sticking through it till the end, or at least skip to the end, because I want to kind of catch some stuff up. I want to catch some of you guys up because I've been getting a lot of questions from our last video about Destiny 2 self-destructing and us kind of moving away from Destiny content, so I just want to clear up some confusion there. Alright, sound good? Okay, let's roll forward. Starting off the top of our list, I like to lead with the weapon as I think that this is the most likely to attract hate in the comment section, so let's get it out of everybody's system, shall we? This is the Everyman. This is a solar adaptive frame pulse rifle, so a 390 pulse. You can see the stats on here, very solid stats, nothing crazy, and the flavor text for this reads, I guess I should put some kind of voice on for this, let me...
For ye shall hear how our heavenly king calleth every man to a general reckoning.
As you can see from the design of this here, it's pretty obvious what this is about to do. I mean, look at that. If you don't know what's happening here, you probably are a Titan main. Ooh, starting fires in the comment section. Ah! Okay, so the exotic perk for this is called For Another. Kills grant a stack of Another. Hold reload to consume the stacks and switch to a shotgun blast per each stack. So the idea here is that when you get a kill with the pulse rifle version of this weapon, you can then swap it to the shotgun version of this gun in order to, do whatever it is you need to do. The idea is that we want it to be a flexible weapon. Obviously, because you can run both a pulse and a shotgun essentially in one slot with some obvious things, you have to actually be able to access that shotgun. It allows you to run something like a sniper rifle in the primary slot. I think that this really makes it interesting both for PvP and for PvE. So the first thing, PvP. The PvP players are already saying to themselves, wait a minute, a shotgun and a sniper and a normal freaking primary weapon, that sounds overpowered. Well, you have to get a kill before you can actually switch it over to that shotgun mode, so it kind of levels it out. Essentially what this allows you to do is to cover every range decently, right? Mid-range, pulse rifle is great. For long range, the sniper rifle, if you, let's say, run something like sniper rifle, but you could run whatever you want, right? That's great. And then close range, what we actually have for the archetype of shotgun you're looking at here, this would be a 140 shotgun, so a rapid fire shotgun. The damage is not great. You'd have to be relatively close in order to actually get the kill on it, but again, the flexibility of it would be absolutely fantastic. And of course, you can see here the other perks that you can get allows for even more flexibility into whatever it is you wanted to do. You could run Wellspring, which is just generically get your abilities back whenever you get kills. The Demolitionist perk, which allows you to, of course, get grenade energy when you get kills and reload your weapon when you throw a grenade. And Swashbuckler, which is sort of like a mix between bonus damage and encouraging the melee gunplay. So this whole idea is that this weapon is meant to be whatever you need it to be. Of course, the Everyman is, that's the name of the weapon, right? It fits perfectly. I really like the way that this could work. I think that this absolutely could work in both PvP and PvE, as it fills both slots decently well. It's not like the exotic Kavastov from Destiny 1, where it just did everything kind of terribly. I think this would actually be pretty usable, but not so usable that it's an auto lock. This is definitely, if you're a fan of the channel, you know what I mean by this. This is definitely like a clear beta gun, right? This is your, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I just need to get myself the duel. I just need to get myself the kill. I love this idea. This is probably my favorite design on here. Maybe seconded only to The Devastation Ex, an exotic Titan helmet, and you can look at this thing. This thing is crazy, and you might know what I'm referencing here. There's a handful of references to other games and other medias in here, so if you do catch them, let me know, because I think there's 4 total. Yeah, I think there's 4 references to other things total in here, so let me know if you catch all of them. Alright, anyway, the Devastation X is an exotic Titan helmet. Its flavor text reads, "My vision is augmented." Let's talk about the exotic perks. The exotic perk is called Human Evolution. Barricades are only visible through one side. Barricades display distance to nearby targets and critical barricade info. So essentially what this is this is a one-way mirror, is the way to think about it. So from one side of the barricade, you wouldn't be able to see anything at all. We can just take the little black box and drag it and put it right over the top there, so you can't see what's happening on the other side. Of course, this is primarily useful in things like PvP, as that information is far more crucial, but of course in things like PvE, maybe we could make it so that targets don't blast the barricade as much. They kind of like leave you alone, as if it were a piece of cover. But anyway, the other side of things here is that it displays critical barricade info and distance to nearby targets. So if a target was, let's say, within 30 meters of the barricade, it would give you a meterage as to how far away the nearest target is. It would not give you a direction. It would not necessarily give you information outside of that 30 meters, but it does allow you to at least know if something's sneaking up on you, right? If something's getting close to you. Even for things like PvE, this could be useful for things like Blackout, where you might not know if something's sneaking up on you. And by the way that this would work is this would actually display on the barricade itself like it's a heads-up screen. So it's like its own like visor, as it were. It would also display the barricade's health, so if the barricade was getting ready to break, it would let you know, so you could kind of plan accordingly. It would let you know how long the barricade is going to last before it goes away. All really cool stuff for coordinating good pushes, good execution, good strategy, particularly for PvP. I would love to see this. I know a lot of hunter mains out there will say, well, wait a minute, hunters are the only ones that are supposed to be able to get information, but I definitely think this is like the most Titan way of doing it. This is very much a commander, a tactical, an iron fist way of gathering information. I love this idea. I think this is so cool. You guys will have to let me know what you think of this one as well. And look at the freaking helmet. This thing is exotic as hell. Alright, let's roll forward. Next up is Warlocks, and for Warlocks we've got the Malform Grasps. They're, again, obviously as you can see here, gauntlets, and the flavor text for this reads, "Not even light will escape your reach. Clench your fist, now contort it." As you can see from this, this is a very interesting looking exotic, and you might think this is sort of like a melee based exotic, but yeah, we got a little something special for this. The thing that triggered this idea, was a kind of a comment back and forth in the PvE community saying that only madmen take blink into PvE. So I thought to myself, I wonder if we could make an exotic that would make blink viable in PvE, and I think this could do it. Maybe. You have to let me know. As you can see here, there's kind of like 3 different versions of it. As it's spent, it's empty, it's charging, and it's been fully charged. So obviously I've mentioned that this is a blink exotic. This would not be something you would get after every single blink. This would be something every so often, let's say like 6 seconds or so. But let me tell you about the perk, shall I? Telefrag. Blinking through or near enemies deals damage to them. So there's 2 things that are important to that. First of all, you can actually blink through targets. That's something that you can't currently do right now, but it would allow you to essentially go through targets a little bit easier, as it essentially like kind of like disables the collision box for you for a little bit while you're blinking, making it general mobility a little bit better. Of course, you don't get the extreme speed, weapon handling, and radar like you would with Astrocyte, but the damage side of things, the other half of this, is of course that trade-off. Now if you blink through the target, or kind of like blink and end roughly where the target is, let's say 4 meters, 6 meters, somewhere around there, like normal melee range, it would deal... How does 100 damage sound to you all if this was PvP? I think 100 damage would be fair, because you could come out of the blink, and then you'd have to ready the weapon and then melee, right? Because you still have to kind of like end the blink animation, which would then be enough for a kill. Of course, because this has its own cooldown to it, let's say roughly 6 seconds or so, it would be something that you would have to plan out. You couldn't just kind of blink wildly around the map and then happen to kill somebody. It'd be something that you'd have to like wait for it to be charged and then make that blink work. Of course, if they backpedaled you, then you're, taking Blink into a situation that's less than optimal. Because, let's be honest, Blink isn't the greatest without Astrocyte. I make it look good, I make it look easy, but that's 100% from Mida and the Astrocyte doing a lot of the work for me. So I think this would be really, really fun. And things like PvE, I could see this totally being just like it would for a melee. Maybe even more damage than a melee for PvE, so that it could completely justify its use. I think this would be a lot of fun. This plays sort of like a space assassin, if that kind of makes sense, like a time-shifting space assassin. I could totally see this. I would love to see this as well. This would be a lot of fun. I don't know if it would replace my Astrocyte verse, but for sure, I would at least give it a go. This would be totally interesting. Let me know what you think of this one. I really like this one. Let's roll forward. All right, Hunters, you are next, and then we're going to get to the featured exotic for this week from you guys in the comments section. This one is 2 references in one. There are 2 game references in this one. One of them is more obscure. One of them is really, really obvious, and if you don't get it, I might have to disown you as my child. I'm sorry, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can look at you anymore. I don't think I can see your face anymore. It would upset me too much. Let's talk about the actual flavor text for this, and I think this flavor text requires movie voice, don't you guys think? All right. No cost too great, no mind to think, no will to break, no voice to cry suffering, born of God and void, coming to a theater near. Oh, sorry, that's not wrong script. The exotic perk for this is called Hollow Nail. Hold crouch while near a surface to hang on it. Melees deal increased damage if you are in the air. So the way that this works is that if you hold the crouch button while, let's say you jump up, you're near a wall, you will stab that Mantis Claw into the wall and hold yourself in place. You'll be able to shoot, throw grenades and such as you normally would. Of course, you won't be able to melee because this would take you off the wall as your claw is currently stuck in said wall. But while you're in the air, of course, you could do everything that you normally would. You could hang there for, let's say, 12 seconds, a long period of time, but not infinitely, as I think infinitely could get annoying. I don't know, maybe infinitely wouldn't be so bad, as you kind of already had to get there anyway. I don't know, you're having hip fire. I think infinitely. I'm torn. Comment section, help me out. And of course, the really cool part of this is that melees deal increased damage while you are in the air. How much damage does this increase? I'm thinking, being that this is essentially a free bonus damage to the melees that you already have, I'm thinking probably, let's say, a plus 25, like maybe 10% or like 25 just default, not any percentage, just straight up plus 25. I think that would be okay. It would allow you to get through shields a little bit easier. Maybe certain melees might be able to actually do some significant damage. Throwing knives would be kind of interesting, as I think that maybe if you were to throwing knife somebody in the body from coming down the air, I think would be enough for a kill if my math serves me correctly. I think that's okay though, as that shot's somewhat difficult to land and you kind of have to like set it up anyway. This is a very unique and specific exotic for that. I think this could work. As for normal melees, by the way, you know how the Liar's Handshake works, where when you actually punch, it actually kind of like, sticks the fist in and then pulls it back out? That's how this would work too, is that when you would go to actually punch something, it would kind of like stick the fist in and then pull it back out, just like how the Liar's Handshake work. I think this would be a really fun way to open up some new movement options for hunters. I know they've already got a handful, but they're hunters. That's what they're supposed to do. And of course, you could use this in things like PvE to avoid damage. I can't think of any particular place where this would absolutely break something, but you'll have to let me know. Being able to kind of hold yourself in place could be pretty powerful. Anyway, you'll have to let me know on this one. Again, there are 2 game references with this one. If you don't catch at least one of them, I'll be very upset with you. And the featured exotic for this episode is from user Hazelwolf. He's actually a community member in our Discord. If you want to check that out, you can check the link in the description. It should all be there. It is called the Fireborn's Harness. It is an exotic Warlock chess piece. The flavor text of this reads, "From a spark will be born a fire. Shine through the shadows of doubt." It's an extract from the Sunsinger's Calling. And if you picked up that line, you already know where this is going. I think this is a terrific idea as a way to diversify the Dawnblade's exotic repertoire. The exotic perk is called Angel of Light. Replace Well of Radiance to grant yourself a potent overshield, increased ability recharge, and movement speed instead. Buffing and healing allies refuels this exotic's overshield. So think of this essentially like a really selfish Well of Radiance. Instead of buffing all of your team in the nearby area, it would only buff you. If you happen to heal nearby allies, it gives you a really powerful overshield that you continuously refresh, making you an absolute terror for the duration that this is active. This is something that I think it might have been a very slight oversight on Hazel's side here. This would not be something that would last for the full Well of Radiance effects, which I believe is 30 seconds, which is a really long time for an exotic to last, like without draining any stuff. So I'd say probably like 20 seconds. While it's active, you essentially get like maximum ability regen times 10 for everything, whether it be your rift, whether it be your grenade, whether it be your melee. While it's active, you are a killing machine. You can throw grenades like it's nobody's business. You can heal people. You can melee things. You can cause a whole bunch of destruction. I think this would be a really cool way, specifically for PvP, to open up this idea of having the Well of Radiance be essentially kind of like an offensive tool. Of course, being that this is only an exotic, this would only be something that would come up every so often, so it wouldn't be completely like something that's, you know, destroying the neutral game as well as the super game, as I think that this is a little bit strong, but I think you are, again, having to give up the exotic for, you know, something that's exclusively for the super, which is fine. There's totally plenty of those that work just fine. I think this would be a lot of fun. For PvE, I'd say this is a little bit more on the I just need to survive right now, or maybe I need to make sure that my team survives. So you can essentially become the sword in the ground yourself. You're throwing out those healing grenades, you know, you're throwing down those rifts. You can kind of keep your teammates alive while still dealing, you know, your normal amounts of damage. An exotic doesn't necessarily have to be the best. It just needs to make what we do more interesting, and I think this is an excellent way to do it. This is, of course, a callback to Destiny 1 Sunsinger, and I love it. I love this idea. Good job, Hazel Wolf. You deserve a cookie. I love this idea. It was great. But hey, that's it for our exotics for this episode. These are going to be coming out every so often, kind of in between what we're doing with the other stuff, so you want to kind of set your calendar. Roughly every 3 weeks is the plan when we come up with this kind of stuff. As you can imagine, coming up with an exotics is difficult, right? We might end up doing some kind of idea where we kind of like pick out the best of the best from our previous episodes, if you guys like that idea. Oh, and something I wanted to mention, I mentioned at the start of the video, if you are a regular to the channel, I wanted to clarify a few things. Give me just a minute here, all right? First and foremost, are we leaving Destiny? No. We're doing Destiny content right now. We're not completely abandoning it. We're just going to start diversifying our portfolio, as it were. We're going to start making some of the uploads pull into other games. We're going to talk about Wolfpack stuff in particular with regards to Apex. I've been really enjoying playing Apex as of late. I think the game's in a really good place right now. Overall, pretty damn balanced. And I want to talk about some game design ideas, maybe design a character, redesign some legends, whatever it may be, as well as talking about the Wolfpack stuff within it. I think that's going to be the first thing we do. We're also going to be talking some more of the tech stuff. We talked about SCUF controllers a while ago. I also want to talk to you about some of my personal stories. I work at Apple, in case you did not know that, and I want to give you some of the horror stories I've gotten from there. So if that sounds interesting, be sure to let me know. Like I said, like I've seen a lot of people kind of get scared, like, are you completely leaving Destiny? No, that's not what we're doing. I just wanted to let you know that, you know, we're going to start kind of slowly pulling away from it, but the Destiny content will still be there. We still like to play the game. It's just, let's just hope that the game gets better so we can, you know, focus on that a little bit more. Anyway, hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have exotic ideas in the comment section down below, because I love to see them. I try to read every single comment, so drop them down there. I promise I'll at least take a look at it. You probably go back and check out the other videos. I've left a like and a heart on almost every single one that was respectful. So anyway, bless your faces and deuces.